We're here at Hampton Court for the Concours of Elegance, a delightful play on words from the normal French. We're going to see the launch of the Acura LM69, but there's loads and loads of other fabulous cars here. Now, these two glorious people, dressed in their very period costumes, have brought this lovely car. Esmeralda, tell me just a bit about your journey here. Surely you didn't drive it.
No, we didn't. You usually drive it. I understand it's a little bit difficult but it's an amazing event. We love to be here. We really enjoy it a lot.
And tell me a bit about the history of the car.
This was the 1920 Indianapolis car. It was making 7th place with Chassan. 1921 French Grand Prix, and was winning the first Italian Grand Prix 1921 in Brescia, in Montechiari, and then was going once again back to Indianapolis 1922 with Eddie Hearn, and 1923 was coming in the hands of Michael Campbell, and after that with the Bentley boy Jack Dunphy. So was racing till the 40s, and then was nearby 70 years in one family.
That's quite amazing that it's got that kind of history. And if we look at this car, thinking of that car around Indianapolis, just amazing.
Yes, Indianapolis, Le Mans, Brescia, and for sure Brooklands were a lot. I think 10 years, more than 10 years racing in Brooklands, and now in a really nice place in Vienna. Huh? So it's good.
And you obviously love it and care for it. And do you get to use it very often?
Yes. Quite often. Now in summer, August was so wonderful in Europe, in Austria. We was racing it more than 1,000 kilometers around Vienna. It was really nice, and it's really very nice going. And it's street license, so we could use it on the street and we could use it on the track. So it's really good.
That sounds like an absolutely perfect situation. Does it take a huge amount to look after a car like this?
Yeah, sometimes if something is really bringing back to original condition, but thanks God this car was so long in one hand, so it was never really restored, it was never really put in pieces, and for this we are very happy, so we really only could take care of the original state, it stays like it is, and the mechanics and so on, it's really easy going, so it's nice from 1920, a car it's easy to maintain.
And therefore, looking at this car now, which is all but 100 years old,
yes,
and body's original, engines original?
Everything original, frame original, and it's the only one existing running. So the other one, the sister car, is in Mulhouse, in the Schlumpf Museum, and so we are quite happy to have this unique piece on the street.
It is a unique piece, and just that history of Italian Grand Prix, French Grand Prix, Indianapolis, it is just quite amazing, and thank you so much for bringing it.
Thank you.
I'm here with John Fazal, and that I do a lot of these kind of events, and rarely does a car actually stop traffic and get everybody around it. But this is a Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost.
1919.
1919, polished body, and the history of it is that it's a Maharaja car, isn't it?
Yes, indeed, yes.
Yeah. And so the Maharajas, they sort of competed against each other to have the biggest, flashiest car.
Right.
And were those cars all very different? Because I've never seen anything like this.
The majority were, yes, indeed. In fact, there's a picture of it here as it was when it was new, which is now how it looks again. But I found it in 1967, and it looked like this. not very attractive.
So a sort of a truck body almost.
Yes, yes, that's right. Look, if you look at all this,
Obviously, it's been put back to its original sort of form.
yes, it took me 4 years.
4 years.
4 years to
Yeah.
find parts and get it all.
I mean,
redone.
you don't go down to Halfords, do you, to get parts with a car like this? How on earth do you do it? Presumably everything's made to measure.
You need a lot of good luck. You're finding bits at auto jumbles and other places.
Really,
Yeah.
you can go to an auto jumble and find something for a
well,
silver
I
ghost.
certainly did in the past.
Really, that amazes me. And obviously, presumably, this would have been driven by a chauffeur.
No, in fact, if you look round here at this history, there is a rather splendid picture of His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales in the car in February 1922, being driven by the Maharaja, Sir Bhupendra Singh of Patiala. That's him there.
And the Maharaja had more than one Rolls-Royce,
He
didn't
had
he?
25 of these and 44 altogether.
He had 25 silver ghosts.
Silver Ghost, yes.
And they were all different.
Yes, indeed, yes.
That's incredible.
Yeah, amazing.
And
the company was so pleased with him, they even went to the trouble of putting, if you look down here, that they put his name on their correspondence paper by appointment.
that is
Yeah.
quite incredible.
Nice, isn't it?
And I said at the beginning of this piece that I've rarely seen a car actually stop traffic, but
Yeah.
yours has today.
Oh,
Thank
lovely.
you so much for showing us around.
Right then.
In 1966, Jaguar looked seriously at going back to Le Mans after the success of the D-types, C-types before that, and they built this, the XJ13. It was going to be a world beater, but unfortunately Jaguar's taste for racing, taste for investment in racing, kind of went out of the window, so it never ever actually raced. Now we have this, the flight of fantasy, which is what might have been, what could have been, the LM69. Howard Guy, we've been talking a little bit about these cars and the XJ13 and the evolution, but you have been involved in this project, leading this project. Just what was the thought behind it?
First and foremost, I would say that the brief internally to the team was to design a racing car in 90 days. I know that sounds corny, but this is the truth. We started work with Neville on the XJ13, and he was basically told that he couldn't make any more of those because of copyright and all that sort of thing. So he had a huge dilemma because he'd developed over 10 years both the car and in the middle of developing the engine. He was told by somebody to come and see me. He came to see me and said, we need a new body or something so that we can sell. Anyway, the long and short of it was that we took the car and we started to redesign the car for 69. The idea being that we're taking the 13 and it's a what if we evolve it 3 years, what would that car have to be? It was logical. It was not sort of pie in the sky in order to conform to FIA 69. That meant that certain things had to change. The car had to be faster as well, and it had to be more aerodynamically stable because the 13 really wasn't at really high speed. So this car evolved very, very quickly. We've got a faster screen. The aerodynamics are different because we've got a lower nose. We've got a tail fin on the back, which is sort of like a logical step. But everything that we've done has been done with information and knowledge pre-69. We're not throwing anything of new technology at the car at all. It's been done in the way it would have been. So even the aerodynamics are rule of thumb, sort of hopefully good. We are going to verify that at Myra, where the original car was tested, which is cool. So we'll stick this through the wind tunnel and do certain tweaks. But so long as the car at 180, and I say 180 because we know it will do 208 on paper quite easily because of the power of the engine, the aerodynamics and the gear ratios and all the rest of it. So everything about the car is geared as a 69 racer. Now the double twist is that I want this sort of car for the road today. I want to go down the pub in this car. And I want to go to events like this in this car, and because I like driving. And to be only able to drive something like this at a racetrack is a little bit restrictive. And of course it didn't exist in 69, so that makes it even more restrictive. So it sort of has to be for the road. So at the same time as designing it for 69, we're also designing it for today. So all of the regulations for lighting, for mirrors, for vision, for screens, we're catching all of that stuff, which allows us to road register this at the end of this year.
That sounds fabulous. The idea of going down the pub is something. You've actually done something today which I've never ever done before. I've never done an interview with bagpipes in the background.
No.
But this is all part of your
We didn't
launch.
flinch, did we? We didn't flinch. But I have to say that if you're here in about an hour's time, those bagpipes belong to us.
So, we'll look forward to that and we'll be covering that. But thank you for this. We're really enjoying seeing this car here and we'll be following the story as it goes along.
It'd be great. Thank you very much and great to meet you and great to let people in on a big secret.